Welcome to the 60th episode of the Revolutionary Code, where we bring you the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, Black people here in America, Africa, and the diaspora. I am your host, Brother Tamani Mwandani out of Houston, Texas. I am the direct revolutionary product of one Cardinal and Bayou Chewy out of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, and the indirect revolutionary product of one Albert B. Clegg, African name Jaramogi Bebe Ajiman, the father of liberation theology and the founder of the Shrines of the Black Madonna. I am also the founder of the Black Gold Nation movement. My co-host, the National Director of Political Strategy and Implementation for the Black Gold Nation movement and the chairman of LACE, Liberation Advocates for Community Empowerment, the grassroots, corporate grassroots revolutionary, intellectual gangster, and master domino assassin from Shreveport, Louisiana, AKA The Boot, Brother Craig B. Lee. Brother Craig, how you doing this evening?
I am doing absolutely great, getting ready for our homecoming, which started on yesterday at Xavier University in New Orleans. So I am absolutely wonderful.
Awesome. Is homecoming a weekend, 3-day affair kind of thing?
No, about 4. I think it starts on Wednesday.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. All right.
And Sunday.
And it culminates with a football game or a parade or what?
Basketball game.
Basketball game. Okay.
I think it's actually they've aligned it to have our biggest game, which is between none other than our crosstown rivals, Dillard University.
All right. You participate every year?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Well, before we get into tonight's show, let me let everybody know briefly about the Black Gold Nation movement. Our ultimate goal is putting our people in the position by which we can own and or control the space where we live, because we believe history has proven time and time again that when we don't control the space, meaning we don't have political power that we need to control that space, we always find ourselves on the bottom or in a losing position. When we allow other people to control any aspect of that space, any systems within that space that other people control, we always find ourselves on the bottom of that system, be it the educational system, the political system, the security system, agricultural system, it does not matter. If other people control it, we're going to be on the bottom of it. If other people control the entire space politically, we're going to be on the losing end of it. So with that being the reality that we exist in, and us also not wanting to always be on the losing end, what we're trying to do here in the Black Gold Nation movement is bring our people together to find the right people so we can do something. We don't want to always be in a losing position. So we are trying to identify, organize, connect, and build. We are not just here to inform you or educate you. We're trying to get you to do something. We want to inform, educate, motivate, mobilize, organize, and build. Again, every single thing we say and every single thing we do is about bringing our people together so we can find the right people, so we can build something that matters. And that something that matters is power. So tonight's show title is The Historic Crenshaw Mall, a case study and analysis about the need for grassroots political power. The Historic Crenshaw Mall, a case study and analysis about the need for grassroots political power. So we're going to start tonight's show with a brief video of Brother Roland Martin interviewing Brother Damian Willard. He brought together an absolutely phenomenal team of investors, and they had they had an opportunity to win a bid for the mall. But of course, racism, white supremacy, racism reared its ugly head, and they end up losing out. And we want to discuss that briefly and then talk about it. So give me a quick second to share my screen, and we will get into the video. Then we talk about it. We are recording.
South Los Angeles Community Group. They're fighting back after their bid for the historic Crenshaw Mall was rejected. Downtown Crenshaw Rising says their $115 million offer was the highest one for the property, but it wasn't accepted. Let's talk about it. Joining me now from LA is the executive director for Downtown Crenshaw Rising, Damian Goodman. Damian, glad to have you on Roland Martin Unfiltered. So you say you have the highest bid. How do you know that? Well, has it been confirmed that y'all had the highest bid and it was turned down?
Yes, Roland. I mean, and let's back up a little bit because I think people say we're a development group. We're much more than that. We're the community. Over 300 community organizations and a membership of over 2,400 people came together when we found out that our Crenshaw Mall, the most significant asset in Black Los Angeles, which sits at the heart of Crenshaw and King Boulevard in Leimert Park community, that it was to be sold to outside developers that were closely connected to Donald Trump. And so using our history of organizing, along with bringing together some of the best experts in community-centered development and people-centered planning, we put together a bid to bring the mall under community control. We don't want to see it falling into the hands of outside exploiters who were going to exacerbate the gentrification crisis that is rampaging our community like so many other Black urban communities across America. And so part of that process involved bringing together the many philanthropists and the many social impact investors throughout the country who too recognize this challenge of gentrification, where all the development coming in seeks to undo and literally lead to a cultural erasure of the Black people that are there. And we raised over $60 million, $25 million in social impact investors, over $35 million in philanthropy, and submitted a $115 million bid, which was higher than the bid that Deutsche Bank, that famous bank of criminals throughout the globe, accepted from Heritage Development Group that was backed by a person who's on Putin's list, a man by the name of Len Blavatnik. So that's where we sit right now.
First of all, how much was their bid? How much was their bid?
It's been reported that they paid $112 million.
Okay, so $112 million. Was a reason given as to why their bid was chosen and not yours?
Well, I mean, at its core, Roland, and I want to emphasize this point because there was a tweet that went viral that talked about our struggle, and the comments were filled with fellow Black people who've been engaged in real estate activities or business loans who have similarly been told that their money wasn't green. That even though they submitted the highest offer, even though their qualifications were superior, that they weren't qualified. And so Deutsche Bank, again, that infamous bank that is known as the lender to Donald Trump and has all kind of nefarious activities that they've been caught red-handed with across the world, they said, well, you're not qualified. He was more qualified. This man's been bankrupt personally and has had his companies go bankrupt before. Comparatively, we brought in to assist the community in its engagement, the two architecture firms that are responsible for the most iconic Black structures built in the 21st century. The Smithsonian Museum, National Museum of African American History and Culture, and Equal Justice Initiatives, a museum or a memorial for peace and justice down there in Montgomery. Collectively, along with some of the biggest developers on the planet, those that did the World Trade Center after 9/11, we submitted them a fully financed offer, a plan that was developed for the community that sought to bring in affordable housing, not housing we couldn't afford, sought to bring space for the incubation of entrepreneurship businesses that were owned locally, space for worker-owned cooperatives, green space. We presented the whole plan, and we had the money, we had the community, and we had the plan, and they said that we were not qualified to do the project.
And were they saying that because you did not have mall development experience, management experience? What was their rationale?
We brought in the second largest real estate operation on the planet to be our consultants. I want to be clear about that because there's a difference between where Black people tie themselves to projects where they're just the Black front and the decisions are being made by other people who are outside the community. No, the development company that we brought in, literally, who redid the World Trade Center after 9/11, along with multiple other projects throughout the world in so many respects, was partnered with the second largest real estate operation on the planet that is operating malls today successfully all throughout Los Angeles, the country, and globe. This was not a question of qualifications, Roland, and again, we got to hit that over and over again. This was a racist process by a corrupt bank that was acting, and this is the kicker, man, they were acting at the bequest of public pension funds. The investors who invested and purchased the mall, who were to sell it, contracted. They were public pension funds, right? These entities that are filled with worker money from Black and brown people in this community and throughout other communities across the country. They contracted with DWS, which engaged in this corrupt and racist process. Right now, civil rights organizations, along with ourselves, we're looking at engaging in litigation that lifts up that 1866 Civil Rights Act, the same act that was invoked by Byron Allen when he was denied his opportunity to engage in the acquisition of radio and other multimedia companies. We're looking into that right now, and I think we'll have an announcement quickly. This was old-fashioned racism. This is old-fashioned denial of the opportunity for Black people to own, live, build, and thrive in the community that we occupy.
All right, that was the video. Now let's get into discussing it in detail. Last week, the week before last, episode 58 was titled Gerrymandering, Redlining, and Gentrification, the many games they play to take, maintain, and expand their power. We talked about 3 kinds of gentrification. In the video, Brother Damon talked about Deutsche Bank, which is a German multinational investment bank, and a person connected to Vladimir Putin, who is the current president of Russia, and this person being a known sexual assault and racism. Both of these entities are not U.S. Companies and persons, of course, and both of them had a hand in the winning bid, which was a lower bid. So, Brother Craig, of the 3 kinds of gentrification we discussed episode 58, intra/self gentrification, inter/cooperative gentrification, and then the most common oppressive enemy/forced gentrification. Can you give us a quick overview of the 3 as a refresher, and then let us know from your perspective which of the 3 do you think are most likely to occur after this winning bid actually takes place?
Well, intra-gentrification is a person or ethnic group controlling the entire development of their own space, their own neighborhood, their own community. Ethnic gentrification is a cooperative endeavor between a particular ethnic group partnershiping with another ethnic group to do the development. So there's an equitable arrangement. And then oppressive or forced gentrification is where the outside oppressive entity comes in, devalues property, or starts to build, drives property values up, or they can create an eminent domain situation to move you out of designated property that they have plans for and a certain ethnic group that they desire to see in that space, and then they move you out without, anything that you really can do about it, because they have control of the local legislation, local municipality, and sometimes it goes all the way to the state level, which of course they will always have control because it's a population game.
That's right.
And so this is a clear example of what they were trying to do, this particular group. They were trying to do an ethnic gentrification development, but it got usurped by the oppressor, forced gentrification, and that's what you have. And it's the reality, and this is where I would say, welcome to the real America. Yeah. And it's just the reality of the overall situation. It reminded me of Master P when he attempted to join a country club in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Right.
And white folks did not allow him. And I was just like, why wouldn't you just build your own?
That's right.
Well, you got more money than pretty much everybody there. But it's like this insatiable thing to want to be around these entities. But it's always interesting to see how these things work. But yeah, this is a clear example of oppressive forced gentrification.
So you would consider what the brother was doing or did do to be both intra/self gentrification and cooperative? Or you said they started out with intra, then they became cooperative. That's what you said?
No, it's an inter
Inter-cooperative. Okay, cool. All right, so the winners of the bid was a multinational corporation that's done, according to Brother Damien, quote, all kinds of nefarious activity worldwide and been caught red-handed a number of times. What does this reality mean, Brother Craig, fundamentally and concretely? What does it mean that a multinational corporation can be caught multiple times breaking the law, but can still come in and win the bid? What does that mean fundamentally and concretely?
Philosophy, system, and game, capitalistic white. Man, when we started this podcast, I told you, I mean, I've broken this thing down where all of these things are going to be laid out.
Yep.
Philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy, money, status, and materialism, and spirituality, organic right culture, and the 6 pillars of empowerment. Everything in this universe that impacts so-called human is going to revolve around those things. Yeah. So if you believe that these laws are really laws for you, you're crazy. That's why we looked at what? The documentary of what? Plutocracy.
Yes, sir.
And we learned that this is not a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
That's right.
But it's a government of what?
Corporations. By corporations, for corporations.
Yep. And that's been thrown off because it's a government of white corporations, white corporations, and for white corporations, right, or the prevailing ethnic group in that country, or the dominant ethnic group in that country. And I applaud the brother's effort, but at the end of the day, okay, they denied that. So now what are you going to do? What development are you going to get into now?
Yeah.
Or is that the only, you didn't have a plan B, a plan C? You got to understand things if you get engaged with these hardcore gangsters. These are gangsters that we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So and Brother Damien said that they obviously had apparently had a more qualified, supremely more qualified team. So
absolutely.
So what does that mean fundamentally and concretely? That you not only is your team better, but you got the higher bid.
The philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy. They can make the rules. They can make their own rules because they control the system.
Yep.
The philosophy will always edify and uplift them. And you can be mad about it all you want to, but the appearance of objectivity and justice, that's all it is. It's the appearance of that. It's not the reality of that. Okay. And so now you start to deal with connections, and again, you got the city council component, you got the county commission component, you got the district court component, and then you got the state court component, and those cats have leverage and control throughout all of those areas. So, hey, they don't care about how they look, because guess what? They know the majority of the people on the planet are consumer driven, and so they might get mad for a few seconds,
right?
Maybe a month, a year, and then they're gonna get back to doing what they do.
Yeah. Brother Damien also said that they had over 300, and this kind of goes to what you just said, 300 community organizations and a membership base of over 2,400 people who were a part of the bid, yet they still lost. So this would be
game of capitalism.
but they did.
none of that matriculates, if that doesn't matriculate into the apparatus of votes at the city council or the
Right.
county commission, it doesn't, none of that. Look, man, you're not, I don't care how you want to look at it. You can talk about these politicians, you can cuss them out, you can, if you do not control those votes, if you don't have equity of those votes, it's not gonna matter what your coalition looks like.
That's right.
I mean, they're accustomed to being
Hated.
shamed and all this stuff, but they don't give a damn about all that.
So would you say that them bringing together 300 community organizations and a membership base of, I think, 2,400, would you say that they at least got that part right, the mobilization and organization part? They did do that much? Hell
no, they ain't do it right, because if they did that goddamn right, you wouldn't be focused on a goddamn mall. You'll be focused on community development in the damn neighborhood. Think about, let's just think about what we're talking about.
Okay.
We're talking about a damn mall.
Yep.
So let's say you got a mall. You got all these community groups mobilized, organized, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, how is the mall going to help the oppressed group leverage resources in the Crenshaw area? Explain that to me. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
So leverage the groups for the benefit of a Negro coalition that's going to get paid off the consumerism of the Negroes. But if those same groups are truly about that business, guess what they would already be doing? Community development in the Crenshaw area and revitalizing what they got going on.
Right.
But if you're just one project driven and you're going up for a prize possession that the white folks want,
yep,
and you lose that, but I don't see anything else that comes after that, then I know what your agenda really was. It wasn't about community development and empowerment for our people. It was a real estate play by certain entities using grassroots organizations as a front to create the illusion of a FUBU concept for us, by us, whoop to whoop, da 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 da. If it's not looking like what the brothers and sisters are doing in Stonecrest, Georgia, where Kwabena is at, if it's looking like that, all this other stuff is just wishful thinking, because you ain't controlling no vote on the LA City Council, bro.
And that's one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and I actually thought about it when you before you said it, I was thinking about it. It is kind of odd that, okay, let's say if you build this massive coalition, you got all this money, you put up your bid, your bid is higher than the people that win. Okay, you didn't get that one. You still got the coalition, you still got the money. You didn't have a plan B? I mean, Jesus Christ. Surely there's something else you can build.
Exactly. If you're about that life.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so Brother Damien also said that Deutsche Bank was acting, this is really interesting. He said they were acting at the behest of public pension funds throughout the country, not just in Oakland or California, but throughout the country. And the investors who were trying to sell the mall contracted with public pension funds, which is public money, which means, and this just goes back to them changing the rules, it means there should have been an open bid, right, for the project. Nothing, if nothing else, it should have been at least an open bid, right?
Really? I mean, again, there are rules that you see, and then there are rules that you don't see.
Right.
And the rules that you don't see are made up by the architects and the engineers of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy racism. I remember when you first asked me, it's like, damn, why you say all that together? Like, because it all goes together.
Yeah, because it fits, and it is what it is. Yeah.
You have to understand the system, and you have to understand the game of the, white supremacy and racism. White supremacy is the philosophy, racism is the system. And look, they can manipulate the game anyway to make you appear one minute that they rolling with equity and justice and freedom, but don't never lose. Like, manifest destiny, white supremacy, and the divine rights of kings ain't never going nowhere. Period.
And it might be good for us to remember that their philosophy of white supremacy is as strong as our philosophy of Jesus. If we can come to that conclusion, then we'll realize, oh, they deep with it. because they are about as serious with their philosophy as we are about hanging out with Jesus and going to heaven.
But their philosophy is actually greater, because the philosophy of Jesus that we wrote, it comes from them. So that's a part of their
yeah.
The white.
Yeah.
So we should say their philosophy is actually greater than the Negro belief in so-called Jesus. Because the belief in Jesus is a byproduct of their game plan from white supremacy. Because again, remember, power, the ability to define reality and have others respond to your definition
as if it were their own.
Their own.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So did you get a chance to watch the entire video?
No, I didn't. Okay. I didn't even need to. I mean, it's like, I've gone through these situations here. Is great. Again, what they are were attempting to do. But again, this gets back to the infrastructure, the apparatus of local politics in that municipal government. And LA is one of these cities, and my good classmate, schoolmate from Xavier, Mike Gunn, can tell you, LA is a very culturally diverse, ethnically diverse city. So if you're not building coalitions, you can forget that in terms of leveraging control in a deal like this. So you have a heavy Latino population and a whole bunch of other entities, similar to what you see now in Houston, Texas. So you have to form coalitions, but guess what? In those coalitions, if you got Latino, the majority rules. So now you better be talking about equity, because you damn sure ain't talking about controlling. If you're 20-some% or 15% and they're 40%, because they can swing their leverage with white folks or whoever.
That's right.
To now maneuver you around. So hey man, yeah, you can't win that one in a city where you don't have majority.
Right. So later on, this is why I asked if you saw it. Later on in the video, they when they get to the Q&A part, Brother Damien goes on to say, quote, this is really quote, the public pension funds are literally funding some of the biggest and most parasitic and harmful developments in urban communities like Los Angeles. So he's saying that the public money is being used nationally, is being used to fund some of the most harmful, dangerous projects in the inner city nationwide.
And my response to him would be,
and he said the monies that they have is in the trillions.
And my response would be very simple: welcome to the real America.
That's right. That's right. And I don't know if people really and this is, and I don't know how many times we've said this, but I don't think we understand really how interwoven, how deep, how multi-layered this whole thing is. It's like you always say, Brother Craig, this thing is far on many levels. And when you think you got one part figured out, here comes another part that you didn't even know was there. So the fact that they are using public money to create projects that are detrimental to the inner city and people of color, don't matter.
But this is nothing new. I mean, and Mike said Damien Goodman is his good partner, and he's a good brother. But this is nothing new. This is the reality of how this works. Now, what I would suggest for them, if they don't have multiple projects, since they have this development group coalition in place and the resources, hell, I would look at feasible opportunities in places in the South or other places where you have sizable African American populations, so that you can maneuver, start to generate resources, and then leverage them back in another part of LA. I don't know, but that's why now you go back now, and Mike Gunn. I don't know if you saw the movie The Banker, but this is
right.
So now you can really get an appreciation for the greatness of what those guys
That's
did.
right. What they did, right?
In the 1950s,
Yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Because, bruh, they acquired a goddamn office building that housed banks that turned them down on the damn loan. Okay? But guess who they had to have rolling with them?
White boy.
White.
That's right.
So, I mean, that was a cooperative endeavor, but when his ass died, what happened? Okay.
Right.
Mike said,
or a Jew. They're white too. So hell.
Don't get this thing, don't get this apple pie America thing twisted now. Please don't do that, please.
So the last thing Brother Damien said in the before they get to the questions and answers, he said this was this was old-fashioned racism. This was old-fashioned denial of the opportunity for Black people to own, live, build, and thrive in the community that we occupy. Denial of the opportunity for Black people to own, live, build, and thrive in the community that we occupy. Now, if that is not the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy, I don't know what is. Yeah. Because he's right. That's exactly what it is.
He's absolutely right.
And that's how, and what blows me away, Brother Craig, is like, we still seem to be shocked at what happens to us from organized white groups. It's like,
well, and the reason being is in the almost like baby-like, childlike question that they pose. Our money ain't green. Ain't our money green? They don't give a goddamn about your. Look, man, the money ain't real.
Right. That's right.
Just a game.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter that your money is green or your money is invisible. It's about the relationships that they have with their white fellow comrades. We are in a war. So they want something else to be done with that area.
Right.
You don't want the bill.
Right.
They don't want you. Listen, it's the sustainability of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy. So for every dollar that is now diverted from their team, they lose market share. They lose ground.
Yeah.
They don't want to lose ground.
That's right.
So now they have to mess you up on your deal because this is war. This ain't no goddamn negotiation, like for real. Nigga, this is war.
Yeah.
Period.
And we don't seem to realize that they have a plan and we're not a part of it. All right, so if you missed the beginning of the show, you're listening to the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, Black people here in America, Africa, and the diaspora. Tonight's show is our 60th episode and is titled The Historic Crenshaw Mall, a case study and analysis about the need for grassroots political power. My name is Tamani Mwandani. I'm the founder of the Black Gold Nation Movement, and my co-host is Brother Craig B. Lee, who is the National Director of the Black Gold Nation's Political Strategy and Implementation Department. So, Brother Craig, if this were you, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, when I asked if they got the mobilization and organization part right. If this was your project, if someone brought this to you, you were spearheading it, what would you have started with? Well, yeah. How would you have approached the project, and why would you have approached it that particular way? How would you have done it, and why would you have done it that way?
Well, I mean, first, I wouldn't look to do a project like that in LA, because I would know what I was already up against.
Mm-hmm.
So my focus on operating in the South, in particular in the areas that I can gain leverage, political leverage, economic leverage,
mm-hmm.
and control, that's why we rock and roll on that end. And so in terms of, if I was advising somebody who wanted to.
Okay, so wait. So you saying you wouldn't even invest in that kind of project because there's no reality of having leverage or control?
No,
okay. No. All right. Okay. So you're the advisor then.
I wouldn't even waste the time on a deal. You're wasting time trying to prove something.
Mm-hmm.
See, apparently in the deal, you're trying to prove something to white folks.
Right. That we can do this too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You wasted this time, because at the end of the day, I get it. This mall is up for sale. It makes money off Black folks and other people. Okay, you wanna join in. I mean, you're not sharing any equity with the goddamn community and things of that particular nature. This is just, okay, let's use the Grassroots coalition so that we can go ahead and, this is the first ever Black owned mall or whatever, even though it would be a cooperative endeavor with another entity. So I wouldn't even look at projects like that. I mean, like where Nauru is at, down in the Bay, bruh. I mean, San Francisco, Oakland, man, property value so goddamn high. I mean, they're high in LA too. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I know some people out there who are sitting on properties that are valued at about $1 million, and they got them when they were like 50,000, 40,000, and they sitting on 600,000, 700,000, 800,000. You are a goddamn fool to stay in LA and all these damn places when you can stay on the goddamn property, bring your ass to Louisiana, Texas, wherever your damn people are.
Live like a king.
I'm like, I just don't get it. But I mean, they damn near ain't got no water out there. They got hurt. I mean, earthquakes happening all the damn time. So I wouldn't even be a part of that type of deal. I'll go out there and visit Mike and Nauru and all of that kind of stuff. That's just not my focus.
So how would you have advised them if they came to you and said, Brother Craig, how do we do this? Yeah. What would you have said? Yeah.
But if I was advising him, I would have already had at least 3, a plan B and C if they didn't actually do it. But the number one thing that I would have done, which is what the brothers did in the 50s. See, obviously they didn't see the goddamn movie.
Obviously.
You front the goddamn white folk.
That's right.
You front the damn white folk. You front the white folk. And I was stop it. Yeah. I like y'all. I just gotta let y'all deal with that high ass real estate. But you front the white person. You get you some strippers. You get you some goddamn. You got to be double old Negro folk to the flow on their age. You don't go frontal attack like the white folks used to do back in the Civil War. You got to be guerrilla and you got to maneuver. But it's like, we Black, we want to buy the mall, we want to bling bling, but we're professional. No, it's still white supremacy.
Right.
So they didn't look at the banker. They didn't see how those brothers navigated in the 50s to acquire the building. And you know why? You know why they didn't do that? You know why they didn't do that?
No.
Because we post-racial America.
Oh, yeah. It's not supposed to be this way. Yeah.
We all the same.
Yeah.
It's all free now. We can now approach the white man direct. I would like to buy your store, Mr. White Man, so I can make money off my people and help my people. So Mr. White Man is supposed to allow you to do that.
Right.
Because we're no longer segregated. We say, I go to school with your daughter and we eat together. And so this is how we get played, because we believe in the aesthetics of what goes on, because at the end of the day, the philosophy is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
The system is still the same. And the game ain't changed.
Right. Right. No.
So I would have found a white front.
Mm-hmm.
Because he mentioned a black front. So think about it. Look what he said now. Typically they have a black front, and we don't want to be that. So what's the counter to doing the black front?
Got to be a white front.
Exactly, but we don't.
So
We
you
live
know,
in the multi-dimensional reality, man. I would have did the white front and put the money behind them, and that whole goddamn thing.
I would have thought that I was expecting you to say I would have talked to the politicians first to ensure that I have their support and their backing, but you didn't say that.
None of that. Because you have no leverage. You have no leverage. You don't have a majority African-American council. You don't have a majority African-American county commission. You don't have a majority judicial situation going on out there. So you got a couple of specs. That's about it. And at the end of the day, they're going to pretty much be controlled by the white folks anyway. Your best play is what they did in the banker.
Yeah.
And look, they did the play without any Negroes on the council.
That's right.
They did the play without any Negroes on the parish, on the county commission. Okay? They did the play during Jim Crow. So if hell, they gave you the blueprint.
Yeah, but who knows that blueprint though?
They put it in a goddamn movie.
Well, you know, we don't watch. You know, it's like the Panthers we talked about. They have all of this this white political philosophy and doctrine about community control and how to run the community. Blah blah blah. Didn't look at any black sources at all, be it in America or Africa, about how to create your own space and do your thing. So it is, to me, it seems like it's a lack of faith in black success, a lack of faith in black things. If it doesn't come from a white institution or source, they don't even look at it. And the Panthers didn't either.
That would have been my main advice. You have to understand, regardless of how much money you have, regardless of how many skills you have, the education, the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy racism will never change. So you have to become clever like they are at manipulating us. You have to become clever and manipulate them. Right. But we always, everybody, we gotta be seen. This is my guy.
And you know, he said that there were he said that they weren't the only predominantly black group. Of course, all of them lost, but there were other black groups. But he also said that, and I don't know how true this is. I don't know why the brother would lie. But he said that if we had won it, it would have been a win for the community, because they were going to give the community an opportunity to have an investment stake in the venture as well. So apparently he had big plans to do a lot of things. Unfortunately, it didn't go that far, but it was never going to go that far.
No.
So at this point, they're
especially in LA.
Especially yeah. So at this point, recourse is probably zero, right? Because the bid has already been awarded, and they don't care about the community outcry. So
let's take that hypothetical. They can sue.
And yeah, he said they're going to.
Let them sue. Yeah. Now what's going to happen? They're going to go to courts. And look at Mike can sue.
Sorry.
And I would tell them what I told my good colleague, and I need to call her too, because I haven't, Dr. Beverly Ann Nash. She moved into Shreveport, and man, she had a lot of great plans for Southern University on the Cook Road. And when she went over those plans and what she was going to do to turn Southern around, I said, Doc, I give you 6 months. I give you 6 months. Because this is not, this is something that you don't understand. They are not serious about transforming this institution for it to become a true asset here in this city. So there's some politics that are permanently embedded in that institution. And I would advise you not to engage. Just get your check and maneuver. It's I'm gonna change it. So of course, she lost her job. So then she sued. So I gave her some more advice. Die. Don't sue, die. No, Craig, I got an international female group, and they didn't pick my case up, and we going after Senator Greg Tarver, and we going after. I say, Bill, you don't understand. They control the court system, brother. And though you have a group that's gonna be willing to fight, it's like, man, so she didn't take my advice, and she sued, and she got busted upside the head throughout the court system, and finally she said, "I'm moving to Florida.
I'm out."
So
that's funny, not funny.
They can sue. That's their right. But brother, when I tell you about the philosophy, the system, and the game, brother, this thing is on. This thing, brother, even if you were to get into the layers of how juries are selected at the district court level, brother, there are systems within the system of the system of the system. We did a few years ago, before my business partner Lloyd Thompson died, we did a series from district court here in Shreveport. They got so many departments inside of the court just to bring a goddamn case into fruition, bruh.
Wow.
And they can screen out. Dr. Jones will tell you she got turned down for a jury today, yesterday or whatever. But at the end of the day, bro, this thing it's a lot of layers.
And that goes back to what you always say about, if you don't control or have some serious leverage in your local politics, they can always give you the runaround because you don't control nothing.
Exactly.
So that control is everything, or that leverage.
we believe because we get some education, some training, some money, status, and materialism. Hey man, it's all good. Right. No, you're just now able to maneuver in the matrix a little bit better than a broke person.
That's right.
The philosophy ain't changed. The system ain't changed. And the game is always going to be the same. And remember you know what the pimps always say about the pimp game? It's the same saying in this game. The game is to be what?
Sold, not told.
Not told. Tell you the goddamn game. I'm here to tell you the goddamn game, which is totally unusual because if you start to break the game down, you can get a cap bust in your ass.
For sure, for sure.
And I'm inside of this, so it's like, but I see it all the time, man. It's like, hey, I just give me a percentage of your disposable income, a percentage of your intellectual capital, your labor and our idea, and just positively promote my businesses, projects, and programs.
And keep it moving.
If you want to do all these fairy tales and whatnot, you do that. I'll create my reality in Louisiana and in other majority Black townships and cities in and around Shreveport and other places. I'll let y'all do all the, fancy stuff, pursuits in LA and, DC and okay. Because you got to sell your soul, baby, to do those types of things, baby. Trust me when I tell you.
Yeah.
It's way more than money.
And if the community was mobilized and organized, then they could, at the end of the day, just not shop at the mall, right?
Exactly.
And it wouldn't matter.
And it wouldn't matter.
If it's in a predominantly Black, we already know that. But if it's in a predominantly Black space and the community is not happy with the project, if you don't give them your money, they're not going to be in business for long. It is going to be empty and vacant. Then you scoop it up.
Guess what the white folks already know?
Negroes going to shop.
Exactly.
Yeah, Negroes going to shop.
And guess what the white folks going to do in this particular case?
What's that?
They're going to put some Negro fronts.
Of course.
And so now if you look at the TV show Snowfall, this is actually a part of the TV show Snowfall that kind of chronicles Freeway Ricky Ross's activity before he got busted. Mm-hmm. This act and one of the episodes where Franklin ends up getting some Black business owners who owned a bookstore to sell because of a real estate development coming through the Crenshaw area by white folks. And so at the end of the day, hey, this is the game.
Yeah.
They're gonna put some Negroes in the front, baby.
Yep. And we're gonna fall for it every single time. Okay. Well, that was my last question. The last question is you get one takeaway from tonight's show to ensure everybody keeps this one takeaway with them for the rest of their lives. So if you could give everybody who's with us now, watching live, and everybody who watches the recording, you give them one takeaway from tonight's show, what would that one takeaway be so that they would have for the rest of their lives?
I mean, the one takeaway is you must embrace the reality of the philosophy, the system, and the game of capitalistic white supremacy racism in order to counter its gangster ass impact. If you keep on dealing with idealism, you're gonna keep on getting your ass tore out.
You said embrace the philosophy, system, and game.
Embrace the reality.
The reality. Okay, I got you. Okay. Instead
of the fairy tale.
Yeah.
I can be anything I want to be in this. No.
Yeah. No, you can't. So this question just came to mind, obviously, but and I've asked you this before, but I don't remember what your answer was, so I apologize for that. But the verbiage, the terminology, the philosophy, the system, and the game of capitalistic white supremacy racism. How long have you been telling Black people that? Approximately how many years?
I mean, not specifically with those terms, but pretty much within the realm of that. I mean, 30 something.
So 30 plus years on average, when you say that, the philosophy, the system, and the game of capitalistic white supremacy racism, on average, what kind of what kind of feedback do you get from that?
Yeah, I mean,
After the deer in the headlights goes away.
Yeah. more Negro, you crazy, laughter type thing. Because look, dude, you got to understand, I am a true corporate grassroots revolutionary. I am a hybrid. I have been in major corporate business. I have dedicated my life to grassroots empowerment. So to fuse those worlds together, bro, they wouldn't understand the dynamics. Right. Even my colleagues who are still in the corporate realm, you know, as the creator is now guiding and blessing our endeavor with the dads on duty. Mm-hmm. You know, I get it. These guys are excited and happy. To be honest, I truly know how LeBron James and Michael Jordan feels. I mean, dude, I've done this for over 3 decades, 6 years specifically in Shreveport. So when I talk to people about this, some of them are amazed. It's like, but most of them like, man, that Negro crazy as hell.
Because it's too far fetched. Yeah, too far fetched.
It's beyond their grasp.
Yeah, but you don't say something and then not give the case analysis of the example. So it's not like you're making it up.
But they can only deal within their scope of their existence. I mean, you can't expect them to really go deeper because they're not really life students. You know, they're only dealing within that little scope. And I'm talking about, this is for people who are enlightened, so-called educated. As I go down to Xavier tomorrow, I mean, you know, my colleagues there, I'm hipping them to game on a whole different level.
Yeah.
So these people are accomplished. But again, Xavier did something for me that it didn't necessarily do for them.
Obviously.
So, and then when you factor in my bloodline, my pedigree, it just all came together. So all of this is very natural to me, and it's natural for me to disseminate information because I don't mind, you know, eliminating the whole concept of the game is to be sold, not told. I'm willing to tell you the game. And then me willing to tell people the game over these past 26 years being in Shreveport, they more often than not, no matter what my track record, they can see it, they still do something totally goddamn different.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but
the complete opposite.
Yeah, there's some who will follow. And but you know, the majority don't.
Yep.
And that's cool. I don't get mad at the kid. There was a time it used to enrage and anger me with my partners and not what they didn't want to get, and I'm like, okay, you know.
Yeah, you can't make nobody take it. So okay, all right. On that note, that concludes tonight's show. Open it up for question and answers. Does anybody have a question or comment for Brother Craig? All right, Brother Naru has turned his camera on, so we're gonna kick it off with our brother as usual. Brother Naru.
All right, this question is actually for Brother Mike, because he posted that he was familiar with that Crenshaw area. I wanted to know if that was a prime area where there's public transportation and access to availability for other things. Brother Mike, just want to know about that area a little bit.
Here I'm gonna give some context to it. About 10 years ago, California legislature passed a bill which allowed for transit-oriented density multi-unit properties. That means that all the transportation entities are able to control, build, influence, develop a mile on either side of the right-of-way of the railroad track. So what it is that what they wanted to set up in LA is that you have to walk no more than a few blocks to get to the rail line. So right now, North Crenshaw on Rodeo and Crenshaw, there's another line called the Exposition Line that runs from downtown to the ocean. The connector, which is around the corner from where I'm at right now, runs all the way to the airport. So part of it is the density piece where the developers, they haven't, the law is so arbitrary that they're not obligated to set aside poverty level type houses, all market rate. Because you got to realize something, they got to make the money back.
Mhm.
So so there's always been an effort to increase the transit, but not with the bus. So what it is, they want to promote money since the government give them, they got to spend it some kind of way. So the light rail, subway, so on and so forth. So a lot of that has been displacing and individuals that live in apartments that if they leave, it'll be converted to a condo, or they get the up the price right now.
So Brother Mike, it's not with the bus because of who rides the bus?
Has nothing to do with who rides the bus.
Okay.
They have a bus riders union. It's all about the density they can provide that's closest to the rail stops.
Okay.
And they've achieved that.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of displacement, that occurs when either the landlord goes up on rent. Now, LA has rent control, 3% per annum. You go up 3%. Now, where I live in a Cato Kalin bungalow. So I could, if I sit in the chair in the living room, I could touch my feet with all the rooms. That's how tight it is. I pay about $850 a month, right? And my landlord, me and him cool, been there since 2015. If I moved, that rent will go up to probably $1,800 a month.
Whoa.
God dang.
More than that, probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if Brother Craig want to move out here and just kind of, come out here for the winter weather and the weed, feel like a nice 2-bedroom, 1 bath in a nice area, semi-nice area, you're gonna pay about $2,600.
I know.
But they won't be nice and add the water to that, so you ain't got to pay for water. So, but bottom line is now coming forward, I've been part of downtown Crenshaw for about 7 years, and so what it is that part of the reason, I just my personal opinion, and I've shared this before, is that Damien, his history with the rail line and other things, he's pissed off a lot of people.
Mm.
So people don't forget. So
Yep.
the pensions, because I'm part of LaSera, my pension fund was part of one that had an investment in CIM Group. The reason the brother named that had the mall Capri Investments, they called the marker. The bank said, you know what, nigga, you don't pay this, we're gonna take the money. So what he did, he reversed course, allowed CMI Group to get a piece of the puzzle. Then they come together to bid it out. So the thing is, the same people that Damien the proxy war, the real ones that got the money are not gonna show their heads. So he kind of stepped on some toes. He got some things for the community, a couple of rail stops and stuff like that. But people don't forget, especially white folk. And so that's part of the reason. Secondly, we got a councilman who's providing benign neglect to the neighborhood, Marquise Harris Dawson. I don't know if you heard, but his older cousin, Mark Willie Thomas, I don't know if you heard about that, got his hand caught in a cookie jar. But that's another story. So bottom line is he's over planning and land use, but he can't do nothing about the bidding process of getting involved. All of the Black council persons, 3 of them, hit the hills. So
how many out of how many council persons, Brother Mike? How many sit on there?
We got current price, Council District 9, Mark Willie Thomas, we suspended Council District 10, and Marquise Council District 8. Now these are
so total how many?
3.
No.
How many total council district do you have?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, 15. They're full time, and they average between $190,000 and $275,000 a year. So it's full time, ain't part time.
Wow.
So full time. So the 3 that are concentrated in South Central, it's sad because you know how you've been on the project. This is how the big boys do it. They bid on the project and then they raise the money after. Then they cash out. With a contract closing might be a year later, but they got the money. We had in downtown Crenshaw, we had the money up front, and they still didn't take it. So we kind of knew where it was headed. So right now, yes, we are going to go to court, Brother Craig, and we're going to wear their ass out too. And it may not even come to fruition, but I hate to say it, but if we can't have it, your ass can't have it either. So, I mean, yeah, but concurrently,
Mike, that's gonna be the strategy, Mike.
Hey, this off the record. Damien's already said, we'll burn that.
You know you recording now. Because
Yeah, wait. It's on the record.
Anyway, so
Put it in the chat.
my last point, I retract that. My last point is concurrently we're doing a neighborhood land trust where we're going to be trying to, the money we have on tap is buy properties and stuff.
That's you heard. That's why I was saying.
Yeah. So it's just we already purchased one and we got a couple on contract. But the problem is there's this unforeseen force that's driving up the prices in Crenshaw and Lamert Park. We can't figure it out. So
it ain't for you to figure out. It ain't for you to figure out.
So, but I hope I answered your question, brother.
Yes, brother Mike. And one more thing I wanted to ask: what is the tenants like in the mall? Is it still a viable Crenshaw Mall? Is that still a viable place where people were going, or is it kind of run down and a lot of
no, because you still got active leases. So
okay.
So but it will be. I and Greg remembers this. If this guy has his plans, I mean, after a while, he's either going to tear it down or rebuild it. It's going to start looking like Gertown in a minute. And Greg know what Gertown looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but the reality is that you have a Art Deco building there that was built in the 40s for that area. We didn't come to Crenshaw area till like the early 60s. And that's where we kind of but it was more for the petty bourgeoisie, African Americans in the area, a lot of Jewish folks staying in there, Japanese. But check this out. Out here we have a history of helping the Japanese during internment. Second, my last point, Bradley got in office not because of Black folks. He had a coalition of Jewish, progressive white, Spanish, and Asian. That's how he got in. Most politicians in city, we're more of the swing vote. We're not going to be the majority get most folks in. But here's the thing about it: you get in, then you flip. So that's kind of where we're at. But the struggle continues. So I give advice when I don't really give unsolicited advice to Dame and some of the other ones. I say what I need to say. But the reality is that we went to New York this summer and we protested. Man, it was a great experience because Black social work, we're kind of like we're grassroots, but we're not. But it was a new adventure because I felt like I was out there like Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, and it's like, okay, am I prepared to go to jail? Probably. Do I want to? Probably not. But if I have to go with it, I mean, it is what it is.
Handcuffs uncomfortable.
Yeah, right. But it's just the experience that I played my part. But we are concurrently getting that trust going. And what I'll do is I'm gonna start singing links because what I'd like to do is invite him on one time, just kind of share some things.
That'll be awesome.
Hey, Mike, is Melissa still our class schoolmate? Is she still the president of the Black social worker?
Yeah, she's still. Man, I just had a meeting with them today, man. She had to break wide for the alumni festivities, but she live there.
Are you coming down?
Man, my sabbatical is over at midnight. I'm going back to work. I'm going to Orange County, CPS, and less work, less strain. But it's a new adventure. But Yeah, I looked at life differently, man. In 2 years, I'm like, wow. But I got to get it going, man. I got some gas. I got some gas left in the tank. So
Good go.
yeah,
Good go.
Cool.
yeah.
Good go.
Thank you,
Hey,
brother Mike. That really did shed a lot of light on what I wanted to know.
no problem, brother. And I
No
want
worry.
to to Monty.
Yes, sir.
Once we get in play, I told Craig this. When we get face to face again,
Mhm.
or even before then, if y'all need a player, I'm there. If it happens, Big Mike is there. You know, as long as you invite me to the green room, that's all I want. Everything else, the green room is. I'm there.
Okay, brother.
I'm ready to do some in-person activism. This virtual stuff is fine,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's time. I didn't tell you to God about it. I said, come on, Jesus, come on, cut it out.
All right.
You know,
Well, amen. Okay.
Huh?
Cool.
Yeah,
We
I'm
got you.
saying you got it on tape. You got it on record. So
Got him. Hey, I wanted to tell y'all that. So we have a mall out here, a historic mall called the Eastmont Mall. I don't know if you guys ever heard about it, probably haven't, but it was very famous mall. But after the big department stores like J.C. Penney's, Mervyn's, and all of those started moving out, it became very blighted, very run down. So we kind of took that over, and now we have a lot of a community organizations in that mall taking the place of that. And then that's also the place where we have the outdoor farmers market. And we just got, I think it was 125 million, I said a while back. So we're gonna be building affordable housing in the parking lot area. So a mall can be flipped into something for the community.
Oh yeah, yeah. So something that community can use. Now, Brother Naru, how did you guys go about doing that? I'm assuming you created some sort of corporate entity to get the property.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
assuming
a nonprofit called the Black Cultural Zone.
Okay.
And so it's able to receive funding by grants, but also city council money as well. So that's how the money has been received. And right now, like I said, there's out there on the parking lot. Well, part of the parking lot is the market we have every first and third Sunday. There's also a outside roller skating rink there for adults and children. And then all of the vendors come, it is not just food, all the community organizations. We have health, acupuncture, massage, all of that. It's a beautiful experience. Beautiful.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And Naru, it's funny you bring that up because in Dallas, Texas, at a majority African American mall there called the Redbird Mall, it had gone down as well. And that's exactly what these white boys are coming in doing. They got apartments on the property. I mean, it's cold-blooded, brother. Mm-hmm. It's nice, and that you just repurposing that space.
Yeah, that's all it is. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is what I'm saying. See, I didn't even know all of the micro details of what Mike filled in. But again, once you understand this, the philosophy system in the game and the politics, it's gonna be the same no matter where you at.
Yeah.
So I didn't even need to know, because I understand the demographics. You ain't gonna have but a couple of city council folks, and then I told you they're gonna be sellouts anyway. So you're always at a deficit in the process, but it's beautiful because Oakland's always had an enlightened base, and Oakland is more of the epicenter of the Enlightenment movement on the West Coast than pretty much anywhere else. Oakland, Richmond, and those areas up in there. So it's good, man. I'm glad to hear that now.
All right, thank y'all, brothers.
Cool. So, Brother Craig, when you think of a large multi-million-dollar projects, do you think of one thing that project can be, or are you always thinking multiple things that project could be? Or are you always trying to find multi-use in a particular project?
I would look at multi-use, because you want to maximize the space that you're dealing with. Okay. And I would invite a team of people like Nauru just got through saying, you want creative-minded folks on, you know, when you talk about architecturally designing space.
Mhm.
You want, like I saw how like in Vegas, you got all these goddamn people on the strip, right? And so how do you navigate the people where they don't, you know, get caught up in terms of pedestrian fatalities? You keep them on the side of the street, on the same side of the street.
Mhm.
You say, well, how would you cross the other side of the street? Man, they built walkways
That's
over
right.
the street.
That's right.
And that's very good detailed developmental planning. So you're designing spaces with multiple uses in place. And at the end of the day, again, we can, if you have a solid team, you can rock and roll and do that. But our folks want to be seen, and I get it.
Yeah.
But again, who are you trying to prove something to?
Yeah.
You know, some of this stuff you're gonna have to front white folks, because white folks ain't gonna goddamn change.
Right.
They ain't
Right.
gonna goddamn change. It's just the bottom line. Period.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. All right. So does anybody else have a question or comment for Brother Craig? Question or comment going once, going twice. All right, Brother Craig, closing comments.
Just again, thank you guys for attending. Great comments from my schoolmate, partner, soul brother, Mike Gunn, XU, alumni, Black social worker to the core. And Mike, I don't know now. I'm supposed to be out there in Vegas, you know, with the dance on duty at this conference, my Life Day weekend in 2 weeks. Well, my Life Day week, because that's on a Wednesday, but we're supposed to be out there on a Monday. But now I got word today, Mike Lafitte called me, and guess who we had on the phone, Mike? Guess who we had on the phone? The former president of the National Black Social Workers. And who would that be, Brother Mike? Who would that be? Kevin Washington, Dr. Kevin Washington, my good partner from Shreveport, Louisiana, who is back at Grambling State University. And they want me to come lecture there and receive some goddamn award or something like that. So I might have to do that on my Life Day, on November 17th. I might have to go back to the Black and Gold and represent for Dance on Duty and give a powerful talk. But I would prefer to be there to meet my cousin, who is the Attorney General for the state of Nevada, because this is a very important conference. So, you know, I'm going to represent wherever I be. XU Black and Gold. The story ain't never been told. We up in the house, and you know we bold. What's up?
On that note, always remember that no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation, salvation, empowerment, and freedom of Black people. So thank you guys very much. God bless. Please share the video with somebody Black. And as soon as Brother Craig lets me know what movie we're going to be watching, we're going to be reviewing some Black movie this weekend.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
9 a.m. on Saturday morning. Y'all have a good one. God bless. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.